And we are moving forward. We have a quite international conference right now, and we are moving fast from US to Europe. And here's from the cold Minnesota to the quite cold Latvia. And here is Agnese Jaunošāne, right? Is it correct? My friend prepared for me. Okay. How is it going? Hi.
Hi, so nice to join you. Thank you for organizing this event, and you said my name perfectly. Thank you.
Yes, I was told how to do this right, with my friends, and I was told it's quite cold right now in Riga.
Oh, yes, it is. We're expecting minus 25 degrees this night, so I'm not very
Really,
about it. Yeah.
really, I know it's time for ice skating. In Barcelona, nobody knows what it's supposed to mean.
Yeah. Well, I don't enjoy ice skating, so it's not for me. I enjoy being in warm places in my office or home. So, yeah, not,
Okay. You are invited to our Barcelona office already. So it's warm and cozy, and outside the same temperature.
yeah.
Okay, let's start. The microphone is yours and the stage is yours.
Okay, awesome. So thank you very much for inviting me. So my name is Agnese. So and as you can see, the title of my presentation is Founder-Led Sales Without Selling. So that is exactly what I'm going to share with you. So let me just begin with I need to confess something. So I've been posting on LinkedIn for over a year. I have built Ajelix to over 300,000 users. So we just launched the second SaaS Mailerio 6 months ago, and I get almost zero direct sales from LinkedIn. No daily DMs asking about my products, no flood of inbound leads on LinkedIn, no traditional sales funnels. So, and at this point, you might be wondering, so what am I going to tell you about? Like, if I don't get any leads, why am I talking here? So but yeah, I'm gonna tell you a little bit different story about my approach on LinkedIn, how I approach. I really enjoyed the previous conversation that the Roger presented regarding the pitches that you should never pitch on the first DMs. I really hate that too. So yeah, I'm just gonna share the framework that I use for myself on LinkedIn. So yeah, just to wrap it up. So about me, I'm Agnes. I'm a co-founder. I have two SaaS that we're bootstrapping, so we don't have any external funding. So we are two people team. So I'm the CMO and my husband, he's the CDO, and so we are working together. And Agilex is our first SaaS that we launched 3 years ago. So right now we have over 300,000 users. So we have two brands. We have customers from all over the world, and so. Um, and yeah, and we're using LinkedIn. And usually when we talk about LinkedIn and when we read LinkedIn feeds, all these gurus, they're talking about what we should do on LinkedIn. And they tell us to post about your product daily, pitch, pitch. If you don't pitch, then you have lost the opportunity to talk about your product or yourself, and you have to turn connections into conversions, because what's the point then, right? And you have to obsess over lead gen metrics. And the reality, the question for all of you is, how many sales DMs do you ignore every day? Because I do a lot. And here you can also see in the screen. I actually did a post on this recently. I get just such garbage in my DMs. The people just are automating and using AI to automate low quality outreach, and I just hate it a lot. And and so yeah, the reality, 1 year on posting, it's been more than 1 year since I'm posting on LinkedIn. My goal has never been to get direct leads. My daily, so I don't get DM inquiries about Agilex, no constant sales calls. I don't do sales calls at all. We don't have a CRM. We don't do traditional lead funnel, but yet this has still been one of the most valuable marketing channels I have used. And now let me share how I'm using a LinkedIn and what is the hidden ROI behind my LinkedIn strategy. So the first thing is media features and case studies. So we have received like a lot of requests to feature our tool in different articles, in different newsletters. There are several published authors have reached out to us to write a growth case study about Ajelix, because we're bootstrapping. We don't have like any budget. It didn't help, but we still managed to get a huge user base. We have received multiple interview requests from journalists. We have several major media features coming out soon next month, and we didn't pitch these. The people find out about us on LinkedIn. And the second part of the hidden ROI is the speaking opportunities, including this event right now. I have received multiple event invitations just by sharing our story, my story, Agilex story on how we are growing and what we're building. And it's just, it comes organically just by sharing the stories. And to be honest, when you have the chance to speak in front of thousands of people, yeah, you just accept it, and you can buy these opportunities. Well, you can if you have, of course, huge budget and thousands of dollars to speak at some kind of major conference, but usually, yeah, you can't just buy that. The third thing is the strategic partnerships. When we launched Mailerio 6 months ago, so Agilex, we've been growing for 3 years, but we launched it last year. And actually, I got first beta users for Mailerio. Like, it was like I posted and I got these users who were already ready to test our tool and to give us a feedback. And actually, the first customers, they all came from LinkedIn, just because I shared the story. I shared the story of Mailerio, why we are building, and what does it does, you know. And we have also created. So when I started posting on LinkedIn, so we are in SaaS industry for like 3 years. And when I started on LinkedIn 1 year ago, we had 0 network connections. So we didn't know any founders, any SaaS founders. We had like 0 network. And so when I started posting, I told my co-founder, I said, you know, we need someone that we could write to. You know, we have like this problem or that problem. I can bet that there are founders who also struggle with these problems. If we could make some connections, it would be so much easier for us. And so actually, that is actually one of the things how I approached LinkedIn. And I actually got with friends, with several creators, publishers, and you know, you're creating these relationships. You're not pitching to them, and so they are not pitching to you. And this is the mutual relationship, and yeah. And so this is also a super valuable thing that we're getting from LinkedIn. And so this is actually one of my favorite slides. So if we talk about the network effect, so I'm not a big salesperson. I'm not a fan of standard sales approaches. When someone pitches me, you know, you buy, I don't know who buys from one pitch or anything like that, and then you move on. Maybe you can upsell something, you know, but the network formula, and this is my custom formula, correct me if I'm wrong. I just thought that this would make sense, these formulas, but it's just 1 + 1 + 1, right? From the other hand, founder-led is exponential. You can never know what will be tomorrow. You share your story, people will remember you. You speak at an event, someone recommends you, they refer you, they introduce you to someone because you're just being you. You're just there. And for example, someone writes a growth case study. They publish this growth case study to thousands of hundreds of thousands of readers, and they're all your ICP. And so when you're doing founder-led sales and sharing honestly on LinkedIn, you're not building just a sales funnel, you're building actually equity, which is your asset in long term. And this network effect has a compounding effect, and it scales without scaling your effort. If we talk about traditional sales, okay, if you do the demos, if you want to scale it, you have to hire more sales agents and representatives. But it doesn't work like that. As I mentioned, You have a case study, someone writes about you, a journalist writes about you, someone sees you. It's a media feature that is forever on Google, that gives you a trustability on online, which is so important right now. And yeah, I usually post 3 to 4 times per week. If I'm lazy, then I post only 2 times. If I'm being super excited, then I post even 7 times a week. But each post works for me for months. I had a journalist that reached out to me recently, and she just said, "Oh, I noticed your post. I didn't know that you did that, this and that." And I was like, "I posted that 1 month ago. How does this work?" And she just saw it at the right moment, and she was like, "Okay, let me write a feature about you." I'm like, "Sure, be my guest," And yeah, so I bragged all about the benefits, right? But I just wanted you to see like this other side of the LinkedIn. I'm sure there will be experts and amazing speakers who will talk about the sales funnel, about how to scale on LinkedIn, this sales systems. But I'm here to show the different approach. And so I will share 5 steps that work for me, how I create content, how I look at the content on LinkedIn. So the first one is lead with value. And of course, not pitches. Please don't do pitches. So it comes with everything. So if you want to talk about the solution, talk about how you can use the solution. What is the value behind it? Not just, oh, I created this amazing thing, just use it, We're sharing a lot of what we're learning. We're sharing a lot about our experiments, that what failed, the stats that we have. And we're just giving away. Actually, my co-founder isn't very happy because he has never understood at the beginning specifically, why am I doing this? Why am I sharing like tips on how to do SEO, or how did we grow to 300,000 users? But I'm like, what are the chances? Like, I can give people value, I can build this brand, and they can use it whatever they like, however they like. And so the second one is that your story is your unfair advantage. Because at the end of the day, people don't care about logos. They care about the people and their stories, and the people who are behind the brands. So I think your competitive advantage is that, why are you doing this? What drives you to do this? Share that on LinkedIn, and people will connect, because people connect to people, not brands or things like that. So, and yeah, just to really tell you that people remember stories, they relate to people, and maybe you will walk off this conference, you won't remember like my brand name or what I'm selling. You will remember me, the person who is behind the brand, that girl in the pink jacket. A lot of people reference me. That's why I keep on wearing it. The third one is that LinkedIn is and network is your asset, and this is also how I treat it. I have met several founders on LinkedIn, and then we're just, okay, I'm going to be in this conference. Are you going to also visit? Oh yeah, I'm going to be. Okay, let's meet up. And so I have met some random people I have met on LinkedIn, but we have created this relationship. And I know that when something happens, I can write him, like ask him, hey, do you know this or that? Or you're a expert in this specific area. And so that's how I always treat LinkedIn. I engage genuinely. If we talk about posts, I never use AI. I actually, not accidentally, but I make grammar mistakes. If you used to, as the English is not my native language, I'm always afraid to make a grammar mistakes or say something that people don't understand. Now I use it to my advantage, because people then know I didn't use AI to generate it. So yeah, that's my competitive advantage right now. And so the fourth one is consistency. I have heard a lot of creators who want to try, posting on LinkedIn regularly. And they're like, okay, I'm going to post on LinkedIn 7 times a week. I'm going to engage to people, at least 30 comments a day. And then they're gone after 2 or 1 week, So you don't have to be constant. You don't have to constantly push out content, but you have to be there for years if you're really serious about what you're doing. And this is also one of the biggest learnings for myself. when I started growing this founder brand, which was more than a year ago, I thought it would take months. I knew it was like a long game. I won't get like exposure that fast. But now I realize it's years. Like it's years to grow the domain expertise more and more. And so that's how I approach LinkedIn. And yeah, and all my presentations include the iceberg chart. So this event isn't an exception. So this is just the irony on how people think they get leads on LinkedIn. Just post on LinkedIn, you will get leads, but how we actually get those leads, it's the events, it's building authority, understanding your ICP, it's the creating visuals, the positioning, the research, and then you again think your ICP is this, but then it is something else, and it's just a super complex system in the end. And yeah, so to sum it up, so my approach on LinkedIn has always been about creating opportunities, opening more doors. And the exposure and the network I have built in LinkedIn, I have built simply by sharing here, without constantly pushing sales. And for me, they are way more valuable than any daily DMs asking about my products. So yeah, thank you very much for listening to me. I hope that what I told you resonated with you. So make sure to just follow me along on LinkedIn, subscribe to my newsletter as I post daily on how we fail with growing SaaS. And so yeah, don't be a stranger. Just if you like the content, just please click the like, because then I know someone is listening. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for this insightful speech. Regarding your jacket, actually, a friend of mine advised me to invite you as a speaker. Her name is Maya, and actually, she referred me to the girl in the red jacket, and she said,
Awesome.
so yes, champagne to that girl. So we have several questions for you. Some of them from here and some of them from LinkedIn Live. So let's start from the first one. How do you decide what's value versus accidental pitching?
What is what first part?
Value. I mean,
Oh.
the question is about some consistency and some
Yeah.
accidental ideas in your daily routine. Maybe you are just woke up and with okay, I need to post this because I have it in the top of my head.
Yeah. Even if it's an accidental pitch, if you give value, the first question is, do you give value to your users, to your readers? And if it's a value, it doesn't matter if it's a pitch or not, if the people gets value, because the reason why we have the business, why we're doing something, is to provide a value to someone. So it only makes sense that we sell our services. But the question is, how do we do that? And so this is, yeah.
Yes, it actually makes a lot of sense. So let's go with the next question. How do you turn conversations into opportunities without asking for meetings?
I never ask for meetings, actually. I don't like meetings at all. And actually, most of the time, I sometimes do pitch, for example, to media, and then I just provide the references, I have spoken there or there. But actually, to be honest, my first speaking events or my first growth case studies have all come to me. I have never pitched for those. So
Really?
yeah, if someone asks me or someone starts chatting with me, I'm just going with the flow. I'm just chatting with this person. I never pitch someone. If I pitch someone, then I'm super straight, For example, if I pitch to media, it's clear that, I'm pitching here a story, this and that and this and that. I'm not wasting their time. I'm not pretending to be interested in this person, because I have received several DMs where people start to pretend that they are interested in. If you understand that they are not truly interested in what I'm doing or what my SaaS is doing, and I can see right through it. There are like 3-4 messages. Oh, what it does? Okay, so we do this. I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't know you. I'm not gonna jump on a call with you. And so, yeah, it's more like I'm creating, I'm connecting. And when it makes sense to have a call or collaborate, it just makes sense. There's no specific timing.
Okay, you just see something in their eyes. Okay, understand.
Yeah, it's a very true. I can totally agree with this take. Yeah. Actually, let me in between these questions, let me add my personal takeaway and suggest something for the audience. My main takeaway from your amazing speech was that you have to be prepared for a long run. You invest into your future leads. You never get immediate result. You might be doing this for a year or for a couple years to establish trust. And someday you're getting those leads, like in your example, some journalists coming to you and referencing your post from 1 month ago. This is how it works. And you need to be prepared for a long run. This is my main takeaway from your speech, to be honest. And I think it's really important one because very few people understand this. Also, I would like to suggest to our audience, to our attendees, to write down their own takeaways and publish those takeaways directly in LinkedIn. Feel free to mention our speakers because I think this is how we build community, actually, how we establish these meaningful connections between us within our community. So make sure to write down your takeaways and just publish it with everyone else.
Okay, and we have another question from our data engineering team, actually. I already, it could be tricky a bit. So, what's the one metric founders should track, or one metric they should ignore?
Okay, so founders, I'm assuming that we're talking about SaaS. So as I'm
Yes.
doing SaaS, so I'm going to answer it like that. So number one metric to track is adoption. How actively users are using your product, if they are using at all. Because it doesn't matter how many users at the end of the day sign up if none of them uses your product. So this is one of the critical ones, and the adoption rate will always solve the churn problem and all the different all the other metrics that we hate, so adoption rate. And so one thing to ignore, I would say vague impressions, maybe. Yeah, actually ignore something to ignore. I'm not even sure. I think I need to think about this metric because right now I'm saying impressions in terms of, I don't know, in SEO, it doesn't care how many impressions you get. People don't search for your brand. So it's hard to answer right now, but I need to think about it. But the first thing I'm saying, I think it's impressions.
Okay. Think about it and drop me a message after the conference.
Actually, it's a pretty good reason for our attendees to start following Agnese in LinkedIn, because whenever she gets this answer, I'm pretty sure she's going to publish some posts about this. So if you start following her, you can get this answer for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, we have another question from LinkedIn Live. Actually, I believe it's from one of the founders. What would you do differently if starting today with zero audience?
I would say that I would focus more on speaking with customers, because when we launched the 3 years ago, we received like so many people signed up. We had like people started using, and somewhere in the middle we lost focus on why they are signing up, what are they trying to do with our tool and with our platform. And actually at some point it really when everyone's asking, like, who are your users, and we're like, yeah, good question. We don't know. We're not sure, And so what I would do differently and what we're actually doing right now is we are actively working with our customers. For the first time, we have launched the beta version, which is right now happening. So we have several users who are testing, who are submitting feedback. We are talking with them because we're launching the new Ajelix version in 2 weeks. So we are really working hard with our customers and iterating with this feedback. So this is the one thing that I would definitely do it different.
Okay. Thank you for this honesty. So we have another question, and it's a tricky one actually. How do you decide what not to post to stay consistent without burning out?
Oh, this is a very good question. Yeah. Sometimes I have actually several posts that I have never posted, which I have written being very emotional, when everything is bad and nothing is working out and you get bad feedback from your users. And then
Yeah, I know.
I just write them down. I'm like, okay, I have this post, but I'm not going to post it today because I kind of feel, I don't know, it's just a feeling, I would say. I don't have like a scale metric, okay, should I post this or not? But actually, I have one way. I ask my co-founder sometimes because he's more skeptic about sharing
Okay.
everything in public. And so I'm like, do you think it's too much? And then I'm sharing it with him, and he's like, yeah, well, maybe it is. I don't like this part or that part, and yeah. So he is, I think, my thermometer sometimes.
Okay, I see. You have a backup. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a really good one. Okay, and we have another question. We have a couple of more minutes, so I guess one or two questions we can do this, right? How do you personally balance building in public versus protecting sensitive company info?
Yes. Very good question. I think my co-founder just asked this question in live because this is specifically what he's always concerned about.
Okay.
There are things that I don't disclose, and it's just always like I don't talk about very critical metrics. I don't share a lot of financial metrics because I have spoken to several other founders who have shared these metrics, and then I'm like talking, how did you benefit from that? And they're like, I think everyone benefited from that, just not me. So there are things that are just written down that I just don't post. I just don't share about. And yeah, and that's actually how I keep these things. And sometimes there are like things that I really want to share. And again, I speak with my co-founder. Do you think it's okay if we share? Is it like a secret or not? And so it's the negotiation with him. How much is it a secret and how can it hurt us? Because if it can give value to the people, so maybe we should share it, And yeah, it's always balancing.
Okay, I see. I guess it's a point for argument with your husband.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and let's go with the last one. I believe it's a bit strategic question. At what point should a founder intentionally change their content direction, even long term?
When it makes sense, I would
Yes.
say. When it makes sense for you, because the first question I would ask, what is your goal of posting on LinkedIn? So, for example, when I started, I wanted to start posting on LinkedIn for 2 years, and I just couldn't because I didn't have the goal. So why am I posting even? And so, but I also think that you can change the direction. Actually, I'm being pretty I'm sharing pretty different content. I'm not talking always only about Agilex or only about the tool. I'm just going actually with the flow, and maybe that's bad. I'm not sure actually, but yeah. But I know a couple of founders who have shared this information with me that they have been focusing, for example, to developers for a specific niche, and later on when they switch, for example, to founders, they feel that okay, it's totally different game. So you should really understand the pros and cons whenever you are changing the direction of your content. How much does it differ? Not sure if I
Okay.
answered the question,
Oh,
but
Yeah, I get totally. Thank you so much for that and for your speech.
Thank you.
So I guess that's it. And I really appreciate your participation. And I hope I will see you within a couple of next weeks because we will start our weekly webinars with different topics around LinkedIn, and we will definitely invite you there.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for the questions were amazing. Thank you so much for everyone who's listening, and thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks for your
Have a
speech.
good night.
Well, let me add let me add my 5 cents to your speech because actually it was great and especially about, about motivation and setting proper goals to start publishing and doing this on regular basis because it's a significant effort, to be honest. Sometimes, and this proves one of your slides when you've been talking about how important about sharing personal story because sometimes you invest in future leads and it might be even not only about your current services or your product or your companies that you are running now, but it can be over time about different product or different set of services because people might be following you at the moment. They might like you personally. Maybe your content does not reflect so much at the moment, but over time, when you launch something new, when you start providing new services, they might really be already in the loop. They might establish this trust with you and start, you can start getting leads over time. That's why we all, invest in building personal brand. So it's not only about your current situation and your product and your services. It might be, something bigger over time.